Previously on Vampyr.
I have to admit your words have conviction. All right, I'll let you see Dorothea.
This was not an influenza-induced seizure. I've never seen symptoms like these on the continent.
Neither have I. But the previous symptoms leading up to this attack were the same, indistinguishable from the epidemic.
Your clandestine activities in the Resistance are over. Let it go.
I'll let it go.
And now, Vampyr, Episode 9. Alright, so, back in my office. A few order of business. First will be to look at some documents that I haven't yet looked at. In my inventory, I have some quest items. So I picked up, when I was rummaging around upstairs, I picked up T. Elwood's medical file. So I want to check that out and see kind of what that's about. All right. This patient's face has been heavily burnt and disfigured by a bomb during the war. Even with the use of the strongest sedatives, he affirms to regularly endure severe pain from the wounds, as if, quote, the flames are still burning under the skin, unquote, he says. Examinations of the citrusized tissues show no trace of inflammation, infection, or swelling. Scars are clean. Could it be a case of persisting nerve damage? The patient never ceases to blame himself for his disfiguration. Could it be a case of guilt of the survivor? Phantom pain manifesting as a punishment for not dying with his comrades. Well, that certainly seems possible. Now, of course, I have eaten him. Yeah, it seemed like he was suffering quite a bit with no seeming way to really get any relief. So, it's kind of tough to, both of the people that I consumed, I was pretty sympathetic towards, so it didn't feel particularly good. But, I sense that maybe this is one of those conflicts that would happen if you were a vampire. So I don't think Reid is the sort of guy who does those things lightly, but he does have a problem of, consuming blood to solve, and he's really in the dark at this point. So I feel like that's kind of reasonable, or maybe what he would do in this situation. The other thing I have is a crumpled letter that I found. Okay. Dear love, I finally found the missing money for the fee asked by the ambulance driver to bring you to the hospital. Don't worry about nothing now except getting better, for I took care of everything. I asked some of our neighbors, and they told me that this Mr. Hooks is something of an honest crook. He may ask for extra money in exchange for a bed, but the bed is then guaranteed. I'm sorry I refused to pay first, and I realize now that the important thing is that you get better soon. The Pembroke Hospital is a good place, I heard, despite the bad behavior of this Milton Hooks. I promise you that everything is okay now. I'll see you in your clean bed as soon as possible. With fondest love, Nikolai. Nikolai? Okay. Wonder which patient that belonged to. And then I have this article on econs that I picked up as well that I wanted to read. Let's see. I wonder who, doesn't say who authored it. It is a rare opportunity and almost a privilege to approach a vampire to observe their most intriguing physical and psychological traits with a scientific and rational eye. Sounds like Swansea wrote this. Here are some of the most fascinating abilities I've personally observed over the last 10 years while interviewing a few vampires, or econ as they prefer to call themselves. Supernatural speed. A vampire can act and move like a mortal in all his actions, but the trained eye will spot that they have the keenest senses and can react quicker than any mortal. On a few occasions, alarm, surprise, necessity to flee, I have seen a vampire move so quickly it is almost as if he had vanished just to reappear somewhere else. The human eye cannot follow their movements when they act so quickly, but it is not a teleport or dematerialization. It is only a supernatural speed. For me, it is a cat-like attribute which allows them to run, dodge, or jump longer and faster than us. I also noticed that such speed seems to exhaust them and that they are bound to physical limitations. Mesmerism. One of the most powerful abilities a vampire can deploy is the capacity to force a mortal to obey them. I call this trait mesmerism, but it has nothing to do with the mortal ability to alter a subject's mental state. A vampire can bend a mortal to their will, and they can even break a mind. A vampire I interviewed even told me the more a subject tries to resist, the more permanent the damage will be, as if the vampire could literally fracture their target's psyche. The same vampire explained to me that this ability required time to master, and that the result could vary widely from one subject to another. Implant a false memory, erase a painful one, the possibilities are endless and frightening. Okay, blood awareness. This appears to be the final one. This may be the most catastrophic ability of all concerning vampires, since it is the cause of so many tragedies for them and us. Vampires crave for blood. They must use their will to restrain themselves from frenziedly drinking every drop of blood they can see. They need blood to function and to express their full supernatural traits. A famished vampire can be very weak even if he cannot die of hunger or thirst. This urge, this need for blood, may explain why a vampire is so aroused by it. A vampire confessed to me that blood could sometimes blind him, since its smell and attractiveness can be so strong. When he focuses, a vampire can almost see blood all around them, inside warm bodies, through walls, on a supposedly clean weapon, etc. The same vampire even told me that he can see if a mortal has clean blood or is ill, and that in some cases he can even sense diseases, infected clothes, or even items in a room. If this is true, it could have so many medical applications it almost beggars belief. Alright. Well, I've certainly found that to be true. That it could be a benefit to a doctor to be able to just see people's illnesses. Alright, so one thing I wanted to do is I've killed people and the health of my district has gone down. So on this character screen we can see that most people have some kind of illness. So what I'd like to do is go around and give some of these people some remedies, because I'm curious if that will bring the health of my district back up to healthy if I cure enough of them. And of course, for the main part of my story, I need to go speak to Lady Ashbury and tell her what I found. So that's the order of business. I also want to try to maybe find out from Milton about that letter I found about him charging for his ambulance services and beds. Alright, so I believe Dr. Tippett might need a cure.
Good evening, Dr.
For fatigue.
Dr. Reid, any good news to share?
Well, let's give you a medical checkup.
Do you need any medical assistance yourself, Doctor?
Yes, indeed. But don't worry, I am perfectly capable of taking care of myself.
Well, I'm gonna help you anyway.
I have no doubt about it, but you are still ill all the same. Please, take this medicine.
I appreciate your concern, Dr. Reid. To be honest, I just did not take the time to diagnose myself.
Okay. Yeah, Nurse Brannigan told me that you've been running yourself ragged. And that you're an excellent practitioner.
Goodbye,
despite your mistake. So that gives you a little boost there. Milton is not in his normal place. Lady Ashbury is also gone from this area. Alright. Let's see. Oh, there's Milton.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Yeah, in a manner of speaking, I guess. Let's see. You have fatigue, and I have 3 treatments for fatigue, so...
Do you need any medical help, Milton?
I'm afraid I do. Like everyone in this hospital. It's a sad state of affairs when even the hospital workers are worried about disease.
Alright, well, have some of this and feel better.
Our job brings us into contact with all kinds of infections, Milton. There's no shame in being ill while you're in a hospital.
That's easy for you to say, Doctor. I get the feeling you don't fall sick often. Well, thanks, anyway.
Yeah, I'm guessing I probably don't get sick anymore. Let's see. Yeah, let me ask him about this letter I just read.
Tell me why you're extorting money from some of the patients here.
If a patient wants a bed, he'll have to pay me a little fee. That's all.
Where did you get the idea for such an immoral scam?
Funny you should ask. The first time it was from a patient who bribed me to get a bed. It's only then I realized I could make a fortune.
Well, that has to stop. And, yeah, so Nurse Hawkins is definitely your partner in crime. She charged, what is it, Mrs. Bostwick, I think? Is that her name? For a bed?
Admit it. Nurse Hawkins is more than your lover. She's also your partner in crime.
Of course she is. How else could I tell which bed is free? I need to know that.
Have you no shame?
Don't you see this city is crumbling down? Today people are ready to pay to get a hospital bed. Tomorrow we may be fighting for food.
Well, that's, definitely... Oh, I could eat you. Alright, that's a consideration. Not that that necessarily solves any problems.
Goodbye, Milton.
Yeah, I really kind of want to strike a balance by kind of eating kind of the minimum number of people to be comfortable, but having the skill to sort of, you know, choose who I would like to kill. Let's see.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft. I'm glad to see you safe and back at the Pembroke.
And I'm glad to meet you too, mortal. I see things much more clearly since I escaped those hunters. And that includes you, Jonathan.
I see. Alright, let's see what you, suffer from. Migraine, which I don't have a treatment for. So I can't really give you anything. Okay, so yeah, what have you heard?
And what exactly have you learned about me?
You try to be a decent man, Dr. Reid. And you're trying to make a difference. That's more than most mortals I've ever met.
That's quite a statement, Miss Howcroft.
But there is more, isn't there? Your interest for my condition. Your subtle innuendos. Are we the same, Doctor?
Yeah, what do I tell her? I'm far worse than you. That's a reasonable answer because I'm actually a vampire and you're not. One vampire's enough. I wish I could be like you. Yeah, I don't think I need to reveal to her that I'm a vampire.
I think one vampire in this hospital is quite enough.
For once I sense real honesty in your voice, Dr. Reid. Somehow that frightens me.
We do actually have 2 vampires because we have me and Lady Ashbury, so I could be competing with her for lunch.
Tell me, Thelma, what do you really know about vampires?
I saw one and he saw me. I watched him hunt and kill. I saw his terrible wounds heal as his victim died. And then I knew I was saved.
You mean you actually saw a vampire? Here in London?
Yes. And it has been the answer to my pain. I must drink and kill to regenerate my decaying body. I am a vampire too.
Okay. Normally telling someone they're delusional in such a confrontational way isn't that useful. We It is true that she doesn't know much, but maybe I could appeal to her sense of self-preservation.
You have no idea what problems your claim could cause if heard by the wrong people, Miss Howcroft. You must stop this nonsense now.
Why fear the truth? Strange things live in the dark, Dr. Reid. Strange and ancient beings that were here before this island even had a name.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you think about Thomas's death sometimes?
Every night. I did not want to kill him. I liked him. And now those hunters want me dead.
You're no murderer.
You're no murderer, trust me. Only a fool would believe otherwise.
How long before other mortals start hunting me? As always, blood is the only price for blood.
Well, you're somewhat safe here.
You're safe as long as you stay here. Those people who hunted you have learned their lesson, I can assure you.
These walls will not protect me, Doctor. They will never forget the crime I've done. And nor will I.
Yeah, not sure which way to go with her. I guess I'll bring her under my protection because she's a little vulnerable.
You are a patient here, Miss Howcroft. Someone with real needs who deserves peace and treatment. I will protect you.
Don't be ridiculous, Doctor. How could a mortal carry all the pain of the world on his shoulders? I should be far more cautious.
I'm no mere mortal, Miss Howcroft. Okay. Does she want to ask me something?
Judging by the look in your eyes, there is something you want to ask me, Miss Howcroft.
Listen to my voice, Jonathan. You can't refuse to answer my questions. Speak now. Tell me about you and that fancy red-headed lady.
You mean Lady Ashbury? What about her?
Don't resist me. Answer now, Doctor. What's really going on between you two?
I love her. No. Not sure if I can trust her. Yeah. As much as you don't know if you can trust anyone you just met, and there's nothing at all. I wonder if this could maybe get me some information about her. Although, Thelma's not the most reliable source, but let's see.
It's complicated. She's so secretive. I'm not sure I can really trust her.
Now, Jonathan. I want you to forget we had this little conversation. You can get back to what you were doing.
Okay, Thelma. Alright, so I think I hit all these. Alright. Goodbye.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Okay. Poor thing. Okay, let's see.
I wonder why the Goswicks came here in the first place.
That's a good question.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reid.
You criminal. Let's see what your medical status is. Okay, you've got a cold and I have a treatment for that, so I will give you a checkup.
Do you need medical help yourself, Nurse?
I'm afraid I've contracted some illness, Dr. Reid.
Not under my watch, Nurse. Take this. You'll feel better.
Thank you, Dr. Reid.
Alright, yeah, let's, bust this little extortion ring you guys got going on.
Milton cheats patients out of their money at this hospital, Pippa. Are you his accomplice?
Yes, I am.
Is this your definition of being useful? By abusing the sick and poor?
No. It is my definition of getting out of this useless life once and for all.
Okay. Yeah, who's the ringleader of this operation?
Whose idea was it?
What difference does it make? We did it together, and I'm guilty as charged.
Answer my question.
It was my idea first, even though Milton would say it was his, to protect me.
Well, I think I know why you did it, but I am curious as to what you would say to me about it.
Why do you do it?
Why not? Most of the sick who paid for a bed are already dead, or will be soon. Don't you see the futility of all this?
That's rather cynical. Let's see. Who is the real you? Cynicism will not save you. You put a price on hope. Yeah, just because they're about to die isn't a good excuse. I feel real bad being judgmental, though, since I murdered 2 patients already. Yeah, so I'm gonna find out who the real you is.
How can you be affected by the misery around you and be so heartless at the same time? Which is the real you, Nurse Hawkins?
I could ask you the same question, Dr. Reid. Are you more real when you lie to a dying patient, or when you grant him useless medication?
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like I might have asked her this already. You want to be more useful?
What steps are you prepared to take to feel more useful?
I don't know yet. My sister believes that the real fight is in the streets nowadays. Maybe she's right. Maybe this is what I must do.
Yeah, would you leave Milton behind?
And what about Milton Hooks? Does he share your point of view?
For Milton, any change means more comfort and more peace. I disagree.
Okay.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
I wonder if there's some way for me to actually encourage her to leave eventually. Although I guess if she's tending patients, that's something that we can't afford to give up. Alright, I want to check my, let's see. Okay, so I've given him a cure, and I've given both of them a cure, and they're recovering. Okay, so fatigue and headache. I might only be able to cure one of those guys, and I didn't have anything for her. Okay, let's see.
Good evening, Dr. Ackroyd.
You're the last person that I want to see right now, Dr. Reid.
I see that you are as friendly as ever.
Are you really going to ask me why? That would just be more evidence of your selfishness.
Yeah, I was just, you know, coming to see if you were okay. You've got fatigue,
Do you
which I
need
could
my assistance?
Don't be ridiculous.
heal that.
I'm capable of dealing with this myself. I've just not taken the time to do so.
Well, have some medicine anyway, you sanctimonious prick.
Then you are lucky that I have taken the time to do so. Consider it a gesture of solidarity between professionals.
I wish this hospital could have received as much attention from you, Dr. Reid. We do not see you in surgery very often.
Well, I ate the patient who needed surgery, so I think that's fine. Let's see. I don't believe I have anything new to say to him. The death of Harvey Fittick. Is that the person that I ate? I'm afraid to ask him that, but I think I'm going to.
How do you think these recent events will affect the Pembroke Hospital?
I am not blind. There is something strange about you and Dr. Swansea. One day you'll have to provide answers.
Okay, so he's suspicious, for sure. What's his mesmerized level? 4.
You are troubled by the death of your patient. I understand. It is something that haunts everybody in our profession.
Harvey Fittick died inside these walls, under our watch. We failed him, all of us.
Yeah. I can't disagree. Okay,
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
that's all for now. Okay, I don't know that I have a... Oh, what's this? An unfinished letter. Okay, I think I've learned that it's best to read these things as I find them. This is 2nd of November. My dear children, sorry I did not write to you before, but it hurts like hell just to write these few words on bloody paper. Don't worry, Daddy will go out of the hospital as soon as the doctors fix his arm. In the meantime, if you need something, go see Mr. Chadwick at the construction site and tell him you are Harvey Fittick's children. You remember Robert Chadwick, the big guy with a mustache who helped me repair the house doors last spring? Go see him and ask for a few bob. He won't refuse to spare you a few. I'm sorry, I can't work anymore for now, but we'll figure out something as soon as I'm out. Don't worry, everything will be fine as soon as Daddy's arm is strong again. As soon as the doctors have fixed my arm, and that ends the letter. Wonder if I interrupted him in the process of writing it.
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
Have you seen any suspicious activity in the vicinity, Dr. Reid?
No more than usual.
This is no laughing matter, Dr. Reid. A patient of mine has been murdered. Mr. Fittick is dead. I should have been more cautious.
I mean, we all should have been. But I think this is beyond your control. First, I'm going to give you a medical checkup. Headache, which I don't have treatment for. Okay. Let's see. Tell me about your feelings of guilt.
Why are you blaming yourself for the death of Mr. Fittick?
It is our fault. Mr. Fittick has stayed longer than needed here because Dr. Ackroyd and I could not agree on the correct treatment.
This argument has nothing to do with his death. He was murdered.
But if we had performed the surgery sooner, he would have left the hospital and avoided this fate.
Maybe. There's a lot of vampires around right now, so there's no guarantee of that. Something else?
What is troubling you so much, Dr. Strickland? Is there something else?
I had to meet face to face with the son and daughter of Mr. Fittick this afternoon. Their eyes. I could barely stand before their accusing gaze.
This difficult task is part of our job, Dr. Strickland. It's our responsibility.
I know. As I also know they'll never get the answer to the question they daren't ask. They were the embodiment of cold fatalism.
Okay, I think we're done here.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
I'm wondering if there might be a way for me to somehow provide for his children by visiting that fellow at the construction site that he mentioned in his letter. I mean, obviously I'm responsible for his death, and I should try to do that if I can. It's the absolute bare minimum that I could do. All right. So I couldn't cure him. Let me see if Lady Ashbury has returned to her tent, because it sure looks like she has. Oh, wait, what? Where is she? Is she back here? Maybe inside. I don't know if I know how to make the cure from... I don't think I know how to make the cure for migraine yet. Oh, she is in here. There's a curtain. Oh, shit! Oh, what the fuck? Whew, that was startling. Okay. I feel you, girl.
I would ask you to avert your eyes, sir. Or did you not know it was rude to stare?
I knew it.
Speak up, Dr. Reid. I like a man who speaks his mind.
Why are you acting like, Why are you acting like you didn't know she was eating patients? Let's see. In the end, you're a killer. Compassion only hides your appetite. He trusted you. Well, I'm not comfortable with any of these responses. Because I've eaten 2 of my own patients.
Hiding your true appetites behind a facade of compassion. Bravo. Very clever indeed.
Spare me your sarcasm, Jonathan. You are but newly born in this world.
Yes, I know. Let's see. No need to apologize. We are vampires after all. So the accusation was true. Well, I think I knew it was true.
So in the end, the accusation was true, wasn't it?
The situation is somewhat awkward nonetheless. I have not been observed sustaining myself for many decades. I have to say I'm a trifle embarrassed.
Anyway, I have concluded my inquiries concerning your blackmailer.
I see. Please excuse my agitated state. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't let anyone see me in this condition.
The case is closed, Your Ladyship. The person who took advantage of you has, shall we say, seen the error of her ways.
So who was it?
My lady, the blackmailer was dealt with using the utmost discretion. The culprit's identity is of no relevance.
Thank you, Jonathan. That is exactly what I needed from you. You have proven your loyalty, so, as a friend, please accept this small token of my appreciation.
Thank you, my lady.
If you have an inclination to learn more about vampires or your current situation, I will be glad to aid you in your quest for knowledge.
I am inclined. Okay, so. Yeah, so the first thing I experienced was the voice in my head, so I haven't experienced it lately, but I've definitely not forgotten it.
I've been hearing a voice talking in my head. Is this some kind of insanity? It feels like the voice of the vampire that created me.
Hush. Tell no one this. It would be unwise to talk of such things amongst British immortals. Speak no more of your maker.
What? Why? That seems super silly.
How could this cause offense?
Only the powerful immortals can mentally call to their progeny. No vampire or hunter will sleep easy, knowing that an unidentified elder is stalking the streets of London.
I see. Well, I don't think she's my maker because I've been hearing a masculine voice in my head that doesn't sound like her at all. Might as well ask, though.
Excuse my forwardness, but are you my maker?
Me? Goodness, no. Only a foolish immortal would create a progeny without taking precaution, and I'm no fool.
I believe that. Okay, why was I left in a pit, a mass grave?
I don't understand. Why was I created and then left for dead?
That is a question only the one who made you can answer. It's not normal practice. I doubt even if you find him, he will answer you, considering how cruelly he treated you.
He does seem like a bit of a bastard, and that does make me wonder if he didn't mean to do it. But yeah, how are vampires made? Is it something you could do by accident?
I'd like to avoid creating another vampire by mistake anyway. Tell me, how is it done?
The process is dangerous. It could even kill your potential progeny. If you did decide to sire an offspring, they must drink of your blood, Jonathan.
Okay. Well, it doesn't seem like I could have mistakenly had some vampire blood. But I'm gonna ask her anyway.
So me being a vampire could have been a mistake?
I very much doubt it, Jonathan. Contrary to the legends, it is not as simple to make another vampire by just biting someone.
Okay. So nobody keeps their blood around in like a chalice or I'm not gonna ask her if I'm a vampire. I know I'm a vampire. Tell me about you. How old are you? Yep, that's what I wanted to know.
I know this is beyond the pale, but may I inquire your age?
Really? And I thought you were gentlemen. If you must know, I'm 27. I've been 27 for a long time now, and 27 I shall remain.
Okay, well, I'm not going to ask her who her maker is because we don't speak of that. I think I'm satisfied on that count. Yeah, how does Swansea feel about you eating people?
Why does Dr. Swansea allow you to feed on the patients of the hospital?
Dr. Swansea is a good and compassionate man. He is trying to find a solution for our hunger. Until that happens, he is clever enough to understand that I only feed upon the dying.
Oh, somebody could have mentioned that to me. I mean, as a doctor, maybe I should have thought of that on my own, but part of it was because I lack the skill to choose my victims more discerningly. Okay. Yeah, what do you know about his order?
What do you know about this Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole?
The Brotherhood is well known amongst London vampire society. As long as our kind is discreet, and as long as they do not interfere, we have come to a mutual understanding.
Okay. Has anyone else been suspicious that you're a vampire?
And no one suspected you of the murders.
As you well know, suspicion has recently fallen on me of killing for pleasure. But you have my word, Jonathan. I take no pleasure in taking a life.
Yeah, I haven't found it particularly pleasurable either. It's a little bit, honestly, very sad. Okay, why did you save me?
Why did you save me in the canning factory?
I could hardly stand by and watch such a promising young blood as yourself be torn to shreds by some gutter scowl.
Oh. Okay, I think I had already figured out William didn't create me, so what's the difference between a skull and a vampire?
What type of vampire is a skull?
Not a true vampire. The deformed offspring of lesser vampires. It is a shame these creatures run wild, slaves to their baser instincts.
I kind of feel like I do that too. Okay, let's see. So, yeah, what the hell's going on? There seems to be a really high concentration of skull in the street particularly, but also I've already met you, and I know that someone else made me, unless you're lying, which I don't think you are. But yeah, what's with that?
Are there many vampires here in London?
Immortals are of a rare breed, and we often tend to hide. But you may occasionally meet some of us at night.
Yeah, are we like dogs where we sniff each other's butts, or cats where we piss to mark our territory?
Will they all be as affable as you, my lady?
I do not see why not. But remember, even the shark smiles before he bites.
That sounds like a lesson from experience.
Vampire politics are as intricate and sometimes tedious as a game of chess in a gentleman's club. I've learned from experience it is best to decline to play.
Okay, so you're not on the inside of vampire society. Yeah, do you know?
Do you know any of them? Have you an idea of the identity of the vampire who attacked me?
You mean your maker? No, Jonathan, I have no clue. But I fear he or she is as careless as cruel. To let you discover your new condition by yourself.
What do you mean?
Every now and then, you may discover an immortal in the deep of the night. But we are a rare and reclusive breed. Our progeny is almost never accidental.
Okay, so I have met some of the pre-win hunters.
When I awoke, changed, I was chased and attacked by vampire hunters. Prepared and well-trained.
Though I can't be certain, more than likely it was the once glorious Guard of Priwen.
Once glorious, they seem pretty numerous now.
Once glorious, but still dangerous.
They have seen better days, but all fanatics are dangerous. You would be wise to stay clear. They are sworn to destroy our kind.
Yeah, I noticed. They do have a religious bent. Is it a cult?
You make them sound like some sort of cult.
More a society. And like all the best ones, a secret society. I thought them almost gone, but it seemed they have been recruiting.
I'll say. There's a lot of them. Yeah, and why is London such a nest of vampire, skull, sewer beast? I met a sewer beast. What's going on?
I've been away from London and England for 3 years. This isn't the city I remember.
Things have gone from bad to worse here, Jonathan. I've lived in this city for a long time, And I've never seen it like this.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So we have the Spanish flu. That's obviously a factor. But it can't just be that.
The Spanish flu has hit London that bad.
Yes, but it's not just that. I've heard things. Things I've not heard for a very, very long time. There are whispers in the shadows. Something far worse than the Spanish flu is here in the city.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was suspecting. Do you have a theory?
What is it you fear?
Fear has long since flown this form. But there is something malevolent circling us. I feel fear is merely waiting in the wings.
Oh, that was not a useful response. All right.
I bid you farewell.
We are done
for now,
here.
my lady. I must quickly analyze the blood I took from Nurse Crane's patient.
Okay. Then I will do that right now. Okay. So it does seem like there's some kind of, maybe from a doctor's perspective, a variant of the flu, because it looks like the flu. I thought there was a book there I could take. It looks like the flu, and then the symptoms sort of take a turn, and the person turns into a skull. That's kind of been my observation. That might not quite be what's going on, but yeah, if there's some kind of flu variant that produces undead, that would be quite dangerous indeed. Alright, let's do some blood analysis. I am in that business after all. Okay, so that has allowed me to make a light stamina serum that increases my regen rate. Okay, that's handy.
Razvan Vasily was infected by Spanish flu, but also has the highly unstable blood of the Scowls. Is the London vampire epidemic transmitted through the flu? I should talk to Dr. Swansea about it.
Okay, so...
The flower's dying. It needs water.
Well, I'd love to give it some water, but I don't really know how. Okay, so that suggests that maybe, the flu... Is it causing skulls? Infecting skulls? Let's go talk to Swansea. Bounce some thoughts off of him. He'll probably want to know how my investigation with Lady Ashbury went as well. Okay. Alright. Dr. Swansea. My friend.
Evening, Edgar. Could I get your professional opinion?
Please speak. But I have something important to tell you.
This strain of flu, it's very different from the one I saw in Europe. It's downright peculiar.
Really? What makes you say that?
Well, I've analyzed the blood.
I've just looked at the blood of one of our recently deceased.
I see. Do you have anything more to go on?
This disease spreads and looks like the Spanish flu, but its effects differ greatly. The London strain is different from the continental one.
This is very interesting. Did you find something else?
Yes, I have.
Yes. Unlike the flu, the infected begin to show an increase in outwardly aggressive behavior. More than simple agitation. Once docile people become violent.
You mean like rabies? Is there a chance we could create a vaccine, Jonathan, like Pasteur? By the stole, that would be smashing.
There's a lot we're not seeing here, but it is spreading, and quickly. If we don't act, the whole city could be lost.
But Jonathan, we've a fantastic opportunity sitting right here in front of us. A weapon of choice.
What on earth do you mean?
Why, you, my dear boy. With your expertise and your blood, we could isolate the properties that course through your veins. Think about the possibilities.
I have thought about it, actually.
I admit it did occur to me. Blood seems to be the common factor in all of this.
I totally agree. We're in uncharted territory here. Maybe it's just wishful thinking, but imagine the possibilities.
We'll discuss this more later. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you, Jonathan. But as I said, I needed to talk to you.
This doesn't sound good.
I have some rather bad news.
Yes?
I'm afraid it's your sister.
My sister?
She's dead.
She's to be buried this evening at Whitechapel Cemetery. Your mother published the obituary this morning.
Oh, Mary.
I see.
I'm sorry, Jonathan. Please accept my condolences.
Thank you. I am pretty upset about it. Okay. Any other tidbits of knowledge to be gained? Ooh, a warning letter. Okay, I'll have to read that. Okay, I think I might have... Oh. Oh, okay. Something from Rakesh. Okay, Dr. Swansea is not sick. I remember that. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to head to my office so that I can look over some of the stuff I just picked up. So I will get to see Mary's funeral and say goodbye to her. That's going to be awfully upsetting. I think extra upsetting because, you know, Mary, you know, I killed Mary in a
It's
in
locked, all right.
Frenzy. Hunger frenzy. And I think that, you know, Jonathan is, he doesn't, at least me as Jonathan's character, does not feel good about having eaten the patients that I ate, so I think he would probably feel a little bit ashamed at what he's done. And going to his sister's funeral kind of feels like, you know, maybe he would feel that she was ashamed of him too, which is very sad. Next time on Vampyr.